In Ecuador, you eat rice every single day. Every day. 2 days out of a year and a half, I didn't eat rice. Women will feed their babies any time of the day, anywhere they want. So that was definitely different. There are dogs everywhere. If people are driving cars, they will honk. If they're saying hi, if they're in a taxi and they have room in the taxi, they'll honk. If there's not room in the taxi, they'll honk. If you're walking, they'll honk. If they're crossing an intersection, they'll honk. If they're turning right, like they just honk at anything they want to. And so that was kind of exciting. Like everyone's just honking for nothing. I'm like, what's going on? On the coast, people hardly wear clothes. So it was, I mean, they wear clothes, but they wear minimal clothing. And so, you know, at first you kind of have to be aware of that. And the craziest thing that I ate probably would be guinea pig. It's called cuy down there. And it was good, but it was just weird knowing what it was. And also when I was in one area, we ate iguana. They caught it right there and they cut it up and cooked it and it tasted good. I mean, I don't really know what it's related to except chicken. It didn't really taste like chicken, but but it was good. And they would make natural juices that were the best. They're so good. A lot of Coke. We drink a lot of Coke too. I really liked the food. A lot of people get sick of rice, but I learned to love it more. We would eat rice with chicken of all different kinds. I mean, they had this dish with like cut up chicken pieces and like vegetables all mixed in rice. It was called arroz con pollo, and it was really good. They would usually eat it with fried plantains that were mature. I don't really know how to say it in English, but they ate a lot of bananas down there. They always have soup, which I don't understand because it's like 95 degrees every day. But we'd always eat soup. We would always have rice. My favorite dish was just rice with fried meat. I don't know. It's like a steak, but they would cut it really, really thin. And so they would fry that up, and then they had like beans or lentils on the side. Also, they would have these things called patacones that they would make out of green plantain, and they would just fry it up and smash it, and it was so good. Anything with rice that you can think of, they would eat it. They would eat spaghetti on rice. I had that 3 times in 1 week once. They would eat egg on rice, just like a fried egg on rice. They always had little salads with cooked vegetables that they would mix in with mayonnaise, like potato and corn and whatever with mayonnaise. They would eat a lot of tuna also. When you walk into a house in Ecuador, you always have to kind of excuse yourself in order to pass through the doorway. And so we'd always say permiso when you walk into a house, which you don't do in the United States, but down there it's very polite to do. Something that I wasn't prepared for was that everyone gives kisses on the cheek to each other when they greet. You just kind of touch cheeks and kind of make a little kissy noise. And sometimes the people are sweaty and sometimes you're sweaty, and so it's kind of gross, but you know, you do it because that's their culture. They always eat with a spoon, and so you can eat with your fingers. They would taught me to, you would just eat the meat in your left hand, and you would help scoop up the rice into your spoon and just eat what you want. And so that was kind of funny. Got to eat with my hands. A lot of the time they expect you to share with them also. Like I had a companion from, well, all my companions that spoke Spanish as their first language were from Chile or Guatemala. And if you bought something and they didn't buy it, they kind of expected you to share with them. So I think in our culture, we're a little bit more selfish. I mean, we're selfish a little bit. More like, I worked for what I got, and so it's mine. And you can do whatever you want with your own money or something. And so I bought a treat, and my companion's just kind of looking at me like, aren't you going to share? And I'm like, you have your own money, like buy your own. And so I had to learn that. I had to learn to be charitable, because that's how they are down there. They just share everything. What's mine is yours. Mi casa su casa. Like they literally live that in every way of their lives. About the culture, it's very different being on the coast and in the mountains. On the coast, the people are pretty crazy, pretty open. They just love everyone. Like, they get to know you and then you're instantly friends. And they give everything they have. I mean, I remember this one family, they didn't have very much money at all. And they made this delicious dinner that they were going to eat. And we showed up on their door just to say hi and see if one of them could accompany us to visit their neighbor. And they said, "Oh, come in, sisters." And they gave us their dinner. And then they made themselves just a rice with a fried egg on it. And I felt so bad. I was like, this is your food and you have hardly any money. But they were just so loving. And I loved that about them. They are so humble and so charitable. And they can be crazy, but they just give everything they have. In the mountains, the people are definitely more reserved. It rains a lot there, and so, you know, they kind of keep to themselves in their house and don't always have parties outside like they do on the coast. They have a lot of traditions down there. A lot of people are Catholic, and so mostly Easter traditions. Like on Palm Sunday, everyone's out selling palm leaves. When I first got to Ecuador, we would always use taxis, and my companion would always talk to them and kind of argue with them. And I was like, why is she arguing? Like, why don't we just get in the taxi and go? Like, but down there you can bargain the price with people and you say, "No, hermano, like, come on, you know, give us a discount," or whatever. Like, you would have to basically bargain down the price with them. So they would always say their highest price that they would want. And so if you're going kind of far in a big city, you know, they might ask $3, but you can say, "Oh, like, can make it $2. We only have $2. Like, oh, that's all I have." And so you kind of talk in this little voice, and they would bargain down the price. And so that was something that I had to learn, is that you can kind of negotiate down there. Not like with bus systems or when you're going to the store. But if you do buy anything from like a little street vendor, then you can kind of negotiate the price with them. So that was something that was hard at first, but you kind of have to just try it out. And you know, if they see a white person, they're going to say, "Oh, well, we'll charge $1 more," because they have a lot of money because they're from the United States. And so you'd have to learn how to kind of negotiate down the price and be firm and say, "No, like, I won't pay more than $2.50, or I won't pay more than whatever." And so that's something very important. It's cool because in Ecuador, everyone pretty much has a store in their house. I mean, every corner there's a store. So if you ever need anything, you just send your kid and they run to the store. It was really interesting because they always have pharmacies pretty much every other street, or every few streets. And kids can just go buy medicine for their parents. You know, they just ask the kids, "Who's this for? You know, why are you buying cough syrup," or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, it's for my mom. She's sick." And so, okay, they'll just give the kids the money. And so in some ways that definitely makes the kids more responsible, because I feel like they've been doing things like that from a very young age, like 6 years old. A lot of people don't have cars. They have a lot of taxis, buses. They have little things called moto taxis, and it's like a motorcycle with like a little carriage on the back or whatever. Those were really fun to ride in. Their houses are pretty much all made of cement. They will just mix the cement in the street. They did live in very poor conditions. Not everyone. There were some people who had nice houses and had tile floors, and pretty much every house has tile. If not, then it's just cement or dirt. That was one thing I missed a lot, was carpet. They'll have rugs, but not everyone. The streets, if you're in like the more downtown part of the city, then they're paved. But I served in a couple areas where it was just dirt roads, and it was fine. And you have to get the most specific directions you can, because if they tell you that they live at some certain address, you better be sure you're writing down the color of the house, the dog that's standing outside it, what color the fence is, if there's a doorbell or not. Like, you have to be way more specific than you ever would think you should be. Like, if you think you know where they live, you don't, because you need more information. And if they don't want you to go to their house, they will tell you the wrong place. That's definitely happened before.
Quiero decirles a las personas de Ecuador que sigan firmes y fieles en el Evangelio, porque es la única manera de poder recibir la felicidad verdadera en esta vida. Recuerden que les quiero a ustedes, que realmente fue una bendición conocerles. Recuerden lo que hizo Jesucristo para ustedes, que Él murió para que puedan recibir el perdón de sus pecados y para que puedan estar juntos para siempre. Yo quiero estar con ustedes para siempre y les ruego que hagan todo lo necesario para que cuando nos toque morir, que podamos estar ahí en los cielos juntos. Yo les quiero, les amo mucho.